if you're interested in learning more about the memoirs of Angelia McGoldrick. It's a very good book for mothers, daughters, or any child that's experienced any motherly rejection, mother wounds. Good for both moms and kids, sons, daughters. Very good book. And I'm an energy healer as well. And I started reading these books because they're written by energy healers, other energy healers. Angelia McGoldrick is a hypnotherapist and a metaphysician. So we are in good hands. Good morning. Okay, I'm going to begin with chapter 29. I'm sorry, chapter 29. I thought it was 28. Wow, we're done. We are done with this book. We've made it this far. Okay, chapter 29. I accept co-host, pre-authorized, let's say that. Um, after my reading, after I'm done with reading, because I like to read for at least 45 minutes to an hour and then open up the live for others, for chatting and all that. So, chapter 29. In the fall of 2023, I took a much needed trip to one of my favorite places in the world, Sedona, Arizona. It had been a long year of healing, and I had been through so much. I knew I needed some time away to reflect and do more healing. There was a continuing education being offered at Margot Retreat Center at Dr. Dix Schwartz Internal Family Systems Theory for 6 days. And I thought, this is a perfect time for me. 6 months weighed heavily on me. Things were swirling, but somehow my need to help took me right back into another difficult situation with Sydney. Old patterns die hard for sure. And early childhood, always steeped nearly out good and most often the hard way. The past year, I had brought about a lot of challenges that had come from some deeper feelings and deeper healings I had experienced early plant medicine and integration work, including the shadow work I had been doing. Spring of 2021, when the deadline for Leah to move out was fast approaching, Sydney was visiting and broke down and cried over having to move out of the house. It broke my heart. She had been through so much with her parents' separation. I felt terrible for her. I wrestled all night and couldn't sleep, thinking about how devastated she was. The next morning, I asked Sydney to go to breakfast so we can have an adult conversation. I had never talked to Sydney before about her parents in an open adult way, but I felt I needed to have this conversation under the circumstances. Sydney, I don't want to have to make you move. It breaks my heart that we are in this situation. I have tried everything to help your mom, but it isn't helping. It seems to just make mine and your mom's relationship more difficult. I know, Grammy, mom has been struggling since dad left, and I had to take care of her a lot. She just cries all the time, and she can't seem to pull herself together. I'm so sorry, Sydney. I hate that your mom is struggling. I don't know what to do, and I want better for you. I just want to help you and get through high school and into college so you can have a better life. And if you agree to stay focused in school and go to college and not go down the same road as your parents, I will talk to your mom and try to work something out so the two of you can stay in the house till you graduate high school. But I can't make any promises. All I can do is try. Okay, Grammy, that would really mean so much to me. Okay, I love you, girl. I love you too, Grammy. I contacted Leah and told her I would agree to let them stay, but we had to make the new lease with rent increase to cover the improvements on the house that were made and the tax increase. I agreed to a 2-year lease, which would take her through Sydney's graduation. Then they would have to move or buy the house, I emphasized. The rent must be paid on time, or I will have to evict you. And when the lease is up, you need to buy the house or move. I want out of this financial relationship. Do you understand? Yes, Mom, I can do that. I really appreciate it. No problem. Just get yourself together. I want you to feel better and for you to move in a better direction. I know, Mom. We signed the new lease. After the initial first month's rent, she paid rent 2 more times and never paid again. She found out that due to COVID, she didn't have to pay your rent, and you could have your landlord apply for government program and they would pay your rent. I was so angry with her for not following through our agreement again. I was mad at myself for giving her another chance, and I was frustrated having to deal with this government program. I did everything the program asked, then got a letter that they were changing their system, and I had to reapply in the new system. I did what they asked for a second time, then got a letter saying they needed more information for nearly a year. I tried to jump through all their hoops, but it never went through. Finally, in September 2022, when the program ended and there were no funds left, I never got paid. I sent Leah a letter letting her know I would be filing for eviction beginning in October due to unpaid rent for 13 months. I didn't get a response from her. I finally got an eviction trial date set for late December, but due to circumstances, I was unaware of some and some new paperwork they required. We had to reschedule the date for February 2023. The whole process had been heartbreaking to me. Leah seemed to be intentionally defiant and incompliant, and it broke my heart to have to evict her and Sydney just a few months before Sydney's graduation, leaving them nowhere to go. Not only was Leah not paying rent, but she also let Sydney's boyfriend move in with them. I just couldn't understand why she was making the decisions she was making. It seemed like she was intentionally being disrespectful and trying to hurt me. I felt like she didn't care at all about my feelings. She had what she seemed to me to be an attitude that I was rich and I owed this house to her, and was mad that I made things so hard for her. I was so tired of being this codependent relationship where I tried to help. It took, it took, I'm sorry, excuse me. Rizzo, come here. I was tired of being in this codependent relationship where I tried to help and took all the responsibility and consequences, and she got all the benefits and none of the responsibilities or consequences. Come sit, Rizzo. Come sit. Come here. Come sit. Sit. Good boy. Finally, in February of 2023, we went to court and she was evicted. Leah started dating a guy named John and made plans to move in with him. Sydney didn't like John and didn't want to go live with her mother at his house. Excuse me. Okay, good boy. Stay there. So I asked if she wanted to come stay with me until she finished high school in May. The plan was that after graduation, she would go to college, and I wanted to help her have the best opportunity and pathway forward as possible. Sydney moved in with me, and at first everything was good, but soon things started to shift. It seemed as if Sydney didn't want to be there. It seemed if I didn't It seemed it didn't feel like home to her, and we had rules she wasn't used to following. We had a large house, and the entire basement was finished with a bedroom, living room, dining room, bathroom, and kitchenette. It was like living or having her own apartment. All we asked was for her to keep it clean, but she seemed unhappy, withdrawn, and avoided me and Tom most of the time. I figured this had to do with being a teenager, and I could tell she was struggling with some depression and encouraged her to see a counselor, but she chose not to. I gave her a lot of leeway because she had been through so much, and I knew losing her home had to be up and being uprooted was devastating. I overlooked a lot of things and just tried to be supportive while she worked and finished high school. In July, she had made plans to have her online best friend Kaylee, who lived in South Carolina, come up and stay for 2 weeks with us for her 18th birthday. She agreed to drive down and pick her up, and we'd take her back. This seemed to perk her up and gave her something to look forward to. I left her on her own to hang out with her friends and didn't bother them while she was visiting. Then one day, when I went down to check on them and found the entire basement a complete mess, you couldn't see the floor, the countertop, or the table. There were food wrappers everywhere, half full beverages on our new couch. The trash was overflowing and it looked like a garbage dump. I was stunned. Sydney, what in the hell has happened down here? She cocked her head with an attitude and stared at me. And I clenched my jaw and said, "After all I have done for you, Sydney, I can't believe this mess. Please get this cleaned up." She stared at me, then rolled her eyes and reacted flippantly toward me. "I hate when you say, 'after all I have done.' It makes me mad, Graham." Seriously. After all I've done? Like, come on. "Well, Sydney, it is hard for me to believe the condition of this place. Please get it cleaned up." I had never seen her act this way in her whole life. I was stunned. I didn't want to embarrass her in front of her friend, so I let it go. But later, let her know we needed to meet with her. Mhm. During the meeting, we told her we could tell something was wrong and asked her if she was struggling with going to college. She told us nothing was wrong and that she had to go to college if she wanted to have a lifestyle she wanted. We told her there were options, but college would give her the best opportunities and that college could be a lot of fun once she got started and met some people there. We encouraged her to live on campus, but she let us know absolutely didn't want to live on campus. We discussed our expectations for her living with us and for keeping her space clean. She agreed to comply, and we left the meeting feeling like we were moving in a positive direction. The next week, right before college was set to start, we sat down with Sydney and discussed getting her a car. We had no way to get her to college every day unless we drove her, and with Tom's and my busy schedule, it didn't seem practical. I had saved for years for Sydney to go to college, and since she had done so well in high school and received a full scholarship to Radford University, the money was available to help her with a car. 6 months earlier, we had helped her get a car at a small dealership for $5,600. And within 2 weeks of getting the car, the engine seized up because it didn't have any oil in it. We were all very disappointed, especially Sydney. When Tom and I discussed helping Sydney get another car, we looked at a better used car in the area. The prices were outrageous for used cars that had less than 100,000 miles in it. And they didn't come with any warranty. We rationalized that we had 8,000 to put down on a car. With help from Sydney's scholarship, we could put in another $2,000 and we can get the down payment under $300. And she could have a brand new car with a full warranty that would last her years. And she would have her own car to get back and forth to in college. In my mind, I rationalized that getting this car was a different situation with Sydney than the one with Leah. We researched the most dependable, affordable new car on the market and found a Toyota Corolla. Were ranked the most reliable car in our price range. And I remember that Mama Aya told me about gifts and opportunities. So when we discussed getting the car with Sydney, we explained this car was an opportunity, not a gift. We told her if she went to college and got her GPA up to retain her scholarship, we would pay for half the car payment and insurance, and she could pay half of the money she had left over each semester from her scholarship. We felt like it could be a winning situation for her. We also told her if she didn't decide not to go to college, she would need to get a job and take over payments, or we would take the car and sell it. No questions asked. She agreed and seemed excited about getting the new car. College began a few weeks later, and we were excited for Sydney. However, within a few weeks of college starting, I could tell something was off. Sydney wasn't getting up for her morning classes. When I asked her about it, she told me they offer online class attendance. I didn't want to micromanage, so I didn't pry, but I had concerns. She started staying out to 2 a.m. and avoiding us more and more. And when I asked her about it, she said she hated school, but she was going to make it through it because she had to. I told her again she didn't have to go to college. There are other options, but since she started the semester, it was best for her to finish it. And if she needed to take a break or consider other options after the semester ended, she could. This way, she wouldn't burn any bridges. I also encouraged her to think hard about the decisions she was making. Sydney, you are standing at a crossroads, and there are two paths you can go down. You can work a 9 to 5 for someone else in a low paying job that you are not passionate about, or you can go to college and have a career that opens a lot of doors for you, doing something you love and enjoy. But ultimately, the choice is yours. I don't want to talk about this, Grammy. Talking about school makes me mad and stresses me out. Okay, I am just trying to help you think about your options. I could tell things were not going well. Her living space continued to deteriorate. She stopped keeping herself. She looked tired and overwhelmed, and any time I tried to say something, it didn't go well. She left and didn't say goodbye and wouldn't come home until we were in bed. One morning in early October, I was having coffee. I looked out our front window and noticed her car was 6 feet from the curb and it was wrecked. I went out and looked at the car from bumper to bumper. Down both sides of the car, it was damaged from end to end. Oh my God, what has happened here? I went down to her room and knocked on a door. What? Sydney, what happened last night? Your car's wrecked. I don't know. I don't remember. What do you mean you don't remember? Were you drinking and driving or high? The car is sitting 6 feet in the road and it is wrecked. Did you hit someone? I don't know. I don't want to talk about this right now. Sydney, we have to talk about this. Okay, when I get up. Ugh, I left worried and went upstairs and told Tom. What do you mean she doesn't remember what happened? I don't know. That's what she said. He gave her a little time and then went down to talk to her. What happened to the car, Sydney? Grammy said, you can't remember what happened. This is very concerning. Poppy, I was asleep when Grammy came down here and I was scared. I wrecked my car last night taking a friend home. She lives down a country dirt road and it was dark. When I was trying to go back out of her driveway, I couldn't see and backed in between two trees. And I am sorry. Okay, well, that makes sense. You need to be honest with us. We will get the car fixed and I will have Grammy call and have it put into the shop. Does it have to go into the shop, Poppy? It drives fine. Yes, Sydney, the car has to be fixed. It is brand new and you have insurance. The car is getting fixed. You understand? Okay. Later, when things calmed down, we had a long discussion about her lying and about school. We told her we knew she was struggling, and if she didn't want to go to college, we would support her in making some different choices and decisions again. I told her she needed to finish up the semester. She responded, I need to go to college. This is the only option I have. She told us she was passing and doing well in her classes and needed to finish school. And I offered to help her look at classes for the next semester that might fit better in her life and that were offered later in the day, rather than having morning classes, since she didn't like getting up so early. Yes, Graham, that's a good idea. That would be very helpful. Great. We're always here to help. And I know you're going through a lot. And I know this accident was scary, but it's okay. It happens. And we will fix the car. We love you. I love you too. Sydney continued to distance herself from us. And one day she came home, cleaned the entire basement, then came upstairs with her bags packed and said she was going to stay with her dad and his girlfriend for a while and left. Just before I left for Sedona, we took the car in for repairs. That's weird. Good morning. During my stay at Mago in Sedona, I did an energy healing with one of the master healers there. I wasn't sure what I was signing up for, but I was told it was an amazing service, so I agreed. It was a cool afternoon when I arrived for my session. I waited in the meeting area for the master to arrive. I spent some time contemplating what I wanted to heal. I had already done so much healing over the past nearly 4 years with my plant medicine and with shadow work, but I knew there was still a bit more left to conquer. What lay heaviest on my heart was the situation with Sydney. I hated to think about having to take the car back. It broke my heart. I learned while I was at Mago that she had dropped out of college, and I knew we were going to have a talk about it when I got home. I instantly regretted co signing for the car. I didn't know what to do to resolve this terrible situation I had gotten myself into again with another person I loved dearly. You know, the master, I finally arrived for my session and took me to a quaint room off from the yoga studio. The air in the room was quiet, chilly, but the warmth from the master healer radiated from her with intense force. And she guided me into the mat on the floor and asked me what I felt needed healing. I told her I was struggling with an issue with my granddaughter, and I wanted some clarity on how to handle the situation in the most loving way, in the most loving, healthy, and healing way possible, so we could both move forward without damaging our relationship. She asked me to notice where in my body I was holding this energy, and I responded in my heart. She asked me to lie down for the next hour, and she began pressing and knocking on various parts of my meridian points, pulling out and releasing energy from all over my body. It was intense, and at times I felt like she was beating the crap out of me. It wasn't awful, just uncomfortable. However, by the time we were finished, I felt amazing relief that I hadn't felt in a very long time. She asked me to sit up and close my eyes and go within and ask again how to resolve the situation. Immediately, Sydney's higher self appeared to me in a vision and said, Grammy, you have to let me go. I felt some sadness, but I knew it was the truth. I had to let her go and find her own way. I had to get out of her way. Wow, I have to let her go. I instantly felt relief. It was incredible. I still wasn't completely resolved, but this helped a lot. I even thought at the time it seemed like a different situation in my mind. I could see clearly I was making the same mistakes and going down the same path with Sydney that I went down with Leah, and it wasn't working. It wasn't healthy. When the retreat ended, I planned to spend the rest of the day in Sedona. A week before, I had found a practitioner in Sedona named Stacy Zimberg who did a theta healing. I never heard of this before, but she explained that while she was in theta brainwave, she guides you along with her to find the source of your struggles. She explained that she finds the bottom beliefs that you are blocking, does healing manifestations, cancel contracts, and does soul retrieval. It sounded amazing and resonated with my soul, which is always my guiding source. So I booked my session for after my retreat. After leaving Mago, I drove to Sedona and did a little shopping, then spent some time among the amazing rocks, the red rock formations. I wanted to take it all in and just be present with the energy of the unbelievable beauty of this stunning place before arriving to Stacy's home for my appointment. Stacy lives just past Bell Rock, and the drive down AZ 179 South is a trip I had taken many times. And it is a very scenic drive past Chapel of the Holy Cross, the trailhead of the Cathedral Rock, and the Course Bell Rock. It was a very beautiful sunny day, and the warmth was welcoming after experiencing the most gloomy, chilly days much of the week during the retreat. As I drove through the many traffic circles on my way up to Stacy's, I thought about all the healing I had experienced over the past year, and even the tremendous work I had experienced at Mago, and wasn't quite sure what I wanted to focus on. I felt pretty complete, but I trusted the universe and knew my soul was guiding me here for a reason. I arrived a couple of minutes early and was sitting in the car gathering my things when Stacy came out to greet me with a big smile. She was a little older than me, probably in her 60s, and had a long flowing dark brown hair with hints of gray that were just beginning to show through. Her skin was weathered by the sun, and she had soft gentleness that made her feel immediately welcome. Good afternoon, Angela. I hope you had a nice drive in. Yes, it was quite beautiful, thank you. She guided me into her beautiful home and presented me with a glass of water from the canyon. I sat on her couch and right away began the session. She said a prayer and asked me to close my eyes and began asking me questions and directing me back to time, which could be even before this lifetime, when I left, when I felt the most hurt or sadness. I replied, I was born with a broken heart. Really? Tell me about your childhood. I was very open and told her I had often felt rejected and as if I didn't belong in my family. She asked me what was going on that made me feel this way, and I told her my parents had split up a year before I was born, and my mother had met someone during the breakup, and then my parents got back together, and not long afterward, my mother found out she was pregnant. And when I was born, my mom knew right away I belonged to the man she had met during the breakup and not the man I called my and knew as my dad. I also told her my 2-year old siblings were 3 and 5 years older than me and were very close, and they often shunned and pushed me away, threw things at me, and called me names. I told her my family gave me the nickname Devil because I had so much energy and was always getting into trouble. She gasped in repulsion upon hearing this and immediately cleared that energy and said a prayer to cleanse this from me. Then she asked me to go back to my mother's womb and asked me what it was like in there. And I visualized being in my mother's room, and within a few seconds, I was floating around in amniotic fluid. What are you feeling? She asked. I feel a lot of sadness. She said, this is not your sadness. This is your mother's sadness, and it doesn't belong to you. She began praying and clearing the energy in the room, filling it with bright golden light of love and healing, removing all the sadness and any other negativity or energy that didn't serve my highest good. I could instantly feel the change and the sadness went away. She went through all the struggles of my childhood and cuts and cords and cleared the energy. I told her I was molested for the first time at the age of 5 by my friends, by my a friend of my father's, and it went on until my parents divorced when I was 9. I told her I was molested for years by Doug and Percy, who preyed on me when I was a young girl and when I lived in Detroit. She cut that cord and cleared that energy and said a prayer over me. When she asked about the divorce, I told her my parents divorced when I was 9. I explained all my responsibilities I had to take on after the divorce. I told her I met Charlie when I was 12 and began to pressure me to get pregnant. I told her I was unhappy at home and wanted out of the abusive relationship or situation. So eventually I gave in and got pregnant at 13 and got out of that abusive situation, but ended up going into even more abusive and hurtful situation with Charlie. She asked me who had hurt me most in my life. I instantly replied, Charlie hurt me. Charlie hurt me more than anyone has ever hurt me. The pain he caused me has been carried with me through my daughter all my life. As I said these words, tears welled up in my eyes. I could feel all the pain and hurt and resentment of the hell that I had been put through with him, and all the pain he had planted in Leah when she was such a young child that created distrust and distance between us that I could never bridge. She immediately asked me to go to Charlie and look at him in the eyes and tell him everything that I ever wanted to tell him. I began to sob, and I could see him right in front of me. I did as she asked and looked him in the eyes, and I began to get loud. I asked him, how could you hurt me so bad and treat me so terribly? I cried and wailed from a part of me that was so deep and had been hidden over 40 years. I screamed at him and asked, why? What did I ever do to you to deserve the pain that you heaped on me? And worst of all, not only did you hurt me, you hurt Leah and did everything you could to turn her against me. All I ever did was try to love you, I shouted. The pain and hurt and anger was deep. I had never felt such much disgust coming out of my body in my life. Stacy was chanting and praying over me. She asked me, what is Charlie doing right now? I told her he couldn't look at me in the eyes. He's looking away in shame. She cut the cord with Charlie and then asked me, can you forgive him? Immediately, in defiance and in anger, I said, I don't think so. I thought I had forgiven him years ago, but I know I have not. She continued to pray over me. A gentleness fell on my heart, and I knew I had to forgive him and set him free. My sobbing began to subside, and I told her with tears still running down my face, I need to forgive him. She began to guide me while chanting and saying prayers over me. I closed my eyes and went back in. He was recoiling in a corner and began shrinking. I looked again and I saw him as a little boy, maybe around 4 or 5 years old. His blonde hair was shaved close to his head, and his blue eyes were sad and lonely. I could see he was hurting. My heart had compassion, and tears welled up in my eyes as I said to him, I don't know who hurt you so badly to make you become so mean, destructive, abusive, and hurt me and our daughter Leah. But I paused as a lump welled up in my throat. I forgive you, Charlie. I forgive you. A feeling of relief filled my entire body as Stacy continued to chant and pray over me while I surrendered more than 40 years of pain and agony. She cut and cleared the cords between me and Charlie. Then she focused on me and Leah and any pain that was still lingering from the past. She asked me to go back to my pregnancy and feel Leah in my womb. She asked me to check in and see what I was feeling during my pregnancy. I said there's a lot of sadness. I endured a lot of turmoil and abuse during this time, and she began to pray and chant and clear all the sadness and negative energy inside my womb. She cleared all the amniotic fluid of any negative vibrations. She restored health and harmony to my pregnancy. I could feel a vibration of healing showering over me and Leah. She then cleared all the cords from 10 generations back and 10 generations ahead of me. I could feel the energy of healing swirling all around my entire body. Then she opened her eyes and said, I feel this session complete. I felt completely drained and spent the next 3 days, sleeping a lot out of exhaustion, but something was different. I could taste real emotional freedom for the first time. That was chapter 29. That one weighs heavy. Good morning. Good morning to my energy healing reading. We are reading The Child I Left Behind, an excellent book for mother wounds. If you're a mother or a child, we all have a mother, right? So sadly, I think we've all been wounded by our mother in one way, shape, or form. And sadly, mothers have a very hard job. It's the toughest job on the planet, I believe. And after reading and listening to other stories of mothers, a mother's job is vast and beyond. And it doesn't come with a handbook, although there are many books out there on motherhood. I guess, most of us are doing the best that we can as mothers. To your mother. To your mother. May your mother have love in her heart, peace in her heart. May your mother have strength. This is my mother prayer for my mother and myself as a mother. Motherhood is a beautiful journey. And if I could go back, I would have taken more time and focus. Like, I wish I would have read more to my children. Things like that. Welcome to my book reading. Good morning. And we're almost done with this book. We're going to get through chapter 30 and we'll call it a day. And then we'll finish the book tomorrow, 31 and the epilogue. This book's profound. Chapter 30. We're almost done. As soon as I returned from Arizona, I learned that Sydney had stopped going to classes in October. I tried to contact her, but she didn't return my calls. So I decided to email her a letter. Sydney, I have tried to contact you, but you haven't responded. I am aware of the decisions you have made with dropping out of college, and I highly suggest you go to the dean's students and let them know that you have been struggling and made a mess of this past semester so they may possibly clear up your record. I promise you do not want this mess on your record, and if you need help with this matter, please let me know. Sydney, Poppy, and I love you very much, and no matter what, we will always love you, and we are here for you. In the past 6 months, it's been hard to watch. It is very apparent now you are not ready for college, and we made a mistake getting this car. When we got involved with the car, it was a perfect situation if you were going to college and let your scholarship help pay for the vehicle. But this is no longer the situation. As a matter of fact, things have changed dramatically, and we are no longer in the situation that we are in when all this started, and what we agreed on is no longer the case. Poppy and I are no longer willing to be involved in this car situation with you. You are responsible for where we are right now. How do you want to resolve it? We have a couple of suggestions if you are interested. The car will remain parked with us until this is resolved. Please let us know. I have spoken to your professors and they have asked you to reach out to them and let them know that you are struggling and they want to help so you don't ruin your academic record. I know right now you don't care, but you may change your mind in the future. It is never good or helpful to burn bridges. I would highly recommend you take care of this as soon as possible. I love you more I could ever express, and I look forward to hearing from you, Grammy. She immediately sent an email response. Grammy, I don't really have the time and energy to type a reply right now, and I may not have for a while, but I just know I love you and I'm finally figuring out how to live for myself. I am so tired of talking about the car, and you know what? I hate the family meetings. I understand I'm responsible, and I'm not saying you are bad or wrong. I just don't want you to think I'm ignoring it. Sydney. I didn't hear back from her except for a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year's. Tom and I talked and decided to give her some time to think things through. The car payments were paid through April, and I figured that would give her some time to decide if she wanted to get a job and a loan and take over the car. I didn't hear from her. I learned that Leah had gotten a job near the office, working at an equipment rental company as an office manager. I had gotten her birthday card, some rocks, and a bracelet while I was in Sedona and decided to stop by and bring her the card along with a $50 I put aside. When I arrived at the office, she came over and hugged me and cried. She said she was sad over some unfortunate things that were going on with her. She was sad over some unfortunate things that were going on with her sister Brooke, who was in some trouble. I held her for a long time and just listened. We had a great conversation. It was the first time after the eviction, nearly a year before, she was kind toward me. I felt grateful and a glimmer of hope that perhaps now she was out of the financial situation with me and finding her way out in the world, and maybe we could heal our relationship. She filled me in about Sydney. She's staying with me at John's house. She's just nesting right now and needs some time to work through all she's been through. Things are not going well with me and John. I have talked about I have talked with Brad's dad, Paul, and he agreed to let me and Sydney move into a one-bedroom apartment. He has a hospital bed in the living room where he sleeps and offer us his bedroom to help us out. I'm glad Sydney's taking some time for herself. She has been through a lot. So please tell her I love her when you see her. I will. She is really, really mad right now, so I wouldn't expect to hear from her for a while. Okay, I love you. Happy birthday. I love you too, Mom. I left her office feeling overwhelmed with love. Wow, that was a nice visit. Very interesting. It's good to see Leah's doing better. It will be interesting to see how this will unfold. I love them both so much, and I'm going to keep sending them love and light metaphysically through my prayers and meditation, and hope that they can find their way to a healing place. In March, a few months later, I still hadn't heard anything from Sydney about the car, and we needed to make a decision about selling it if she didn't want it. So I emailed Sydney. Hello, Sydney. It's been a while. I wanted to check back in and see if you would be available to have lunch or dinner soon. I have some time on Thursday, March 14th, which is a week and a half from now. I could do something after 2 p.m. Let me know if you're available. If that day doesn't work, let me know when you're free. I love you, Graham. I waited a week and didn't get a response. I sent a second email. Hi, Sydney. I hope you're doing well. I sent an email last week, but I'm not sure you got it. I have been waiting to hear from you because you said it would be a while, and I figured you needed some time to think things through. It has been since December, and I wanted to check in. I wanted to see if you had some time to think about what you wanted to do about the car and needed to make a decision about it. Would you like to try to get a loan and keep the car, or should we sell it? If we sell it, we need to have you sign off the title. It is a beautiful car and worth holding on to if you can afford it and want to make a longer commitment and investment into it. If you take the car, if you take care of the car and don't run up the miles, the car could last 10 years or more. But that's up to you. We need to discuss this as we're making the payments on it and the insurance. And we need to make a decision. No lectures. We want you to know how we can move forward from here. We love you very much, and we only wish you happiness, health, and love in your life. That is all we have ever wanted for you. We look forward to hearing from you. We love you, Graham and Pops. It took a few days, but she finally responded. Grammy, I planned to type a very long and well thought out email, but you seem to have an urgency for me to type this and won't be able to do this anytime soon. I've been avoiding emailing you because I don't want to come across rude, but I'm just going to be real. I had already assumed you had sold my car. Feel free to go ahead and do so. That was a very nice opportunity and I appreciate it. But the honest truth is, I always knew that wasn't my car. I knew I wouldn't be able to go to college ever since orientation. Every time I mentioned waiting, you said I'd never go. Each time I said something about not going, all you said, well, if you want to work a 9 to 5 and slave away for the man 5 days a week for your whole life, and that makes you happy, that's okay. I don't care the tone of your voice. You say that it comes off as judgmental, especially when it's repeated every single day. The reality is that we don't live in a world where I have to go to college. And if I want to start making crafts and figure out shipping, I could have several simple online businesses by tomorrow. I'm not ready for any of that. I'm still accepting that I lost my house. I'm still getting over the fact I'm not friends with almost anyone I was just this time last year. I'm coping with the fact that I didn't step up and it caused me to have to permanently rehome my dog. I'm still not over the first car I lost. I haven't had 5 seconds in the past 2 years until these past few months to even realize what all has happened around me. I know life has I know life happens and things are hard. I know you can't just shut everything down when things get hard. What I'm saying is, I had a foundation at our home in Radford and it was shattered. I found a way to get myself where I needed to be, even without a vehicle. I had a job and I knew mine was when I was ready. I had a safe space. I am now $10 in gas away from home with no job, no transportation, not even my own room. However, I am being the most authentic to myself I have been since I was 16. I am happier sharing a bedroom with my mother and Papa's house than I was in any of the three rooms I had the past 2 years. It's not because of where I'm, but it's the people I surrounded myself with and the boundaries I'm keeping. I'm sorry if seems like I'm rambling, but I want you to know exactly how I feel. I know you want me to talk to you and have dinner, but I'm not in a place where that's something I'm going to do. I'm sorry about the financial repercussions I have caused you with the past couple of deals with the car. I think we were meant to break a cyclogram and not in a way we thought. The entire cycle was unhealthy, not just the way it has ended. Business and love are two things that must be kept completely separate. If I love you, I'm going to make sure you have everything you need as long as you are trying. Business is your meat. Business is you Business is you meet your end of the deal as long as I meet mine. When money and things, cars, houses, and trips are brought into there are too many conflicting feelings. I love you endlessly, and I thank you for how much you have taught me on my journey so far. I'm sure we have more to learn from each other, but right now I have too many negative feelings to allow that. I hope you're able to take this in a way you don't feel judged. You have called me out on my shit, and I'm calling you out on yours. That's not mean. It's not hateful. It's real. And thank you for understanding. Sincerely, Sydney. I took a few days to process it all. Wow, that was very mature. This was coming from a loving place within her heart. She's hurting and I can hear it. Man, what a mess I've made. All I've ever wanted to do was help them see how beautiful and amazing and powerful they are and guide them into a better direction. But I have made a mess and have made a ton of mistakes. I took some time to reflect on my need to fix the car and housing situation for Leah and later Sydney and wonder what was that all about for me. It came to me, oh my God, having a car and having a house meant so much to me because Percy wouldn't work and mom's car got repossessed. It sank us down far below what I felt was already the bottom. I remembered the devastation in my mom's eyes and listening to her cry for days over losing her car. Without a car, she couldn't get to work and provide for us. We lost our apartment. We had no way to get to the grocery store or laundromat, and no one was there to help us because we lived in poverty. No matter how hard mom tried, life kept knocking her down. I thought back to those times when I walked 9 miles to get to work, and sometimes back home if I couldn't get a ride. I remember the rejection and disappointment I felt if I asked others to help me with a ride and they wouldn't. The pain I felt not having a car wounded me deeply and made me determined to do whatever it took to get a car and to never be without one. I never wanted Leah or Sydney to feel that much desperation or pain. I had the same feelings about having a house because Percy would never work and mom or help mom. We struggled financially and moved constantly. I never started or finished the same school from the fourth grade. And when my parents divorced until I was in the seventh grade, I never felt secure or safe. Later, I went on to invest on real estate, and now I own 30 houses. I'm sure I did this subconsciously to overcompensate for not having security of my own home after my parents divorced. I wanted Leah to have a home and a car. Subconsciously, a car and a home were symbols of ultimate security and happiness, and I wanted them to have this so badly so they could be happy. I didn't want her to suffer the way I did. When Leah got involved with Brad and he wouldn't work and ran around on her, was rarely home, put drugs and his needs before her and Sydney and Leah and put up with it and kept rescuing him, she reminded of me and my mother, who I resented for putting up with Percy and with Sydney as a younger teenager, had to take care of herself and her mother after Brad left. It reminded me what I had been through as a parentified child. I felt compelled to stop the pain and the patterns from repeating themselves. This is why I have worked so hard to encourage and help Sydney go to college and make a better life for herself and break the pattern. I can see now that this isn't what she wanted at all. This was not about them. This was always about me. I sent her an email back. Sydney, girl, go do you. Have fun, enjoy life, go find whatever it is that makes your heart sing and that you are compassionate about. Live life to its fullest and don't get hung up on the little things or what other people think about you. Who am I to judge? I've learned through all this struggle we are different and we all have different values and aspirations. I have only always wanted the best for you. I apologize for making you feel pressured into doing something you didn't want to do. That was not my intention. I am sorry I didn't hear you. You are beautiful, talented, magical, and only you know what your truth is. I see and hear you, and I love you very much. Thanks for getting back with me about the car. We will move forward, and Poppy can contact you when it sells to sign the title. I love you and wish you the best. I am always here for you. Love, Grammy. I took a deep breath in and hit the send button. I remember what her higher self had said to me during my healing session in Sedona. I need to let her go. I can see now I must get out of her way. I have wanted so badly to help her, yet hindered from her over helping, over giving, and reacting out of my own fear and pain, and it was not been helpful. Oh my God, I have created a lot of hell along the way by trying to rescue. When all along it was me, my inner wounded child, that I projected onto them. It was me that needed to be rescued. I judged them because they were heading down a road toward poverty and struggle, and it scared the hell out of me. I sat and cried and allowed myself to feel the pain, sadness, loss, regret, and grief. It was overwhelming and heartbreaking, but healing. 2 months later, at the end of May, my sister Jenny called and asked me if I heard that Sydney's papa had died. No, I didn't hear that. Oh, I am friends with Brad on Facebook and I saw that his dad passed away. Oh no, I hate to hear that. Leia and Sydney have been living with them for the past few months. I wondered what happened. Didn't they call to tell you? No, they didn't. Maybe they will in the next few days. I've never heard from them. I looked at Brad's Facebook page and saw the funeral announcement and told Tom, even though we hadn't heard from anyone, we needed to go to the visitation at the funeral home, and he agreed. We arrived at the funeral home and stayed until the funeral was about to start. But Brad, Leia, and Sydney had not arrived. Brad was always notoriously late. I told Tom we won't stay for the funeral, but let's wait until 2 p.m. and to see if they arrive. At 1:59, Brad pulled up into the parking lot with his brother, Leia, and Sydney. I drove around and Tom and I got out of the car. You could tell they were surprised to see us and were in a hurry to get inside. We hugged each of them quickly and told them we were sorry for their loss, then left. As I slid into the car to leave, I felt like an outsider and I thought about all the things I had done to push them away, how I tried to control and influence them, to do what I thought was best for them, but made them unhappy. All I ever wanted to do for them was to make their lives better. And yet, what I have done is convey the message I didn't believe in them. I thought if I helped give them a hand up, it would encourage them to move in a positive direction, and their pain would stop, and so would mine. A few days later, I called Leia and told her I'd been thinking about you and just wanted to check in. Yeah, it's been a lot. Pa had been sick for a long time with liver failure, and things had gotten bad over the past few months. I could see he was declining, and I called Brad and told him he needed to take Paul to the hospital, that something was seriously wrong. He came and took him to the hospital, and within a few days he died. I'm really sorry to hear that. Yes, it is sad. He had just turned 59 a few days before he died. Wow, that's so bad. Well, thanks for letting me know what happened. I am thinking about you and sending you my love. Thanks, Mom. I love you too. A month later, I was thinking about Leah and sent her a text, thinking of you today and sending love and light. I got a text back immediately. I signed my lease for Paul's apartment on Sunday. Oh, that's good to hear. I'm so happy for you. That must feel really good. It's been a long road, Mom, but I'm glad to be here. Yes, it is. I'm happy for you. Great big hugs. I love you. I love you too. Wow, that was wonderful news. She is finally moving in a good direction, and I'm proud of her. The next week, I texted her and asked if I could stop by. I had a housewarming gift for her. Oh, yeah? Come on by. I will pull in the driveway if you just want to come up. When I arrived, she was waiting for me. Hey, congratulations on your new place. I have a gift for you. I am really proud of you. Yeah, me too. Well, this is a perfect place for you. It's close to the grocery store and the bus stop, and if you want, this could be your forever home. Yeah, I'm really happy. It has been a journey over the past few years or weeks. Brad and his girlfriend were evicted and have been staying here after Paul died. I told him, I told them I was going to rent the apartment. And Brad asked if he can stay here until they could find a place to live. I said there was no way he was staying here and he needed to get his life together for Sydney. I reminded him his dad just died at 59 years old. I let him know everything I felt about him leaving me and Sydney and all the hell and heartache he'd caused me over the years, and how him leaving us broke me and nearly has taken me this long to get back on my feet. I explained it wasn't my responsibility to rescue him and he needed to get his life together. I told him Sydney had been through so much because of the hell she had been through after he left, and I needed to focus on her and support her as she finds her way into adulthood. He was mad, but they left, thank God. Oh, yeah, I'm so proud of you for speaking your truth and standing up for yourself. Yeah, it felt really good, Mom. I'm excited about the progress I've made. We are going to be okay. We've been taking the bus to work since I don't have a car, but I'm saving and looking for one, and hopefully I will find one soon. Well, that is good. I'm glad you are finding your way. Yes, a lot of good things are happening for me. I have started practicing Reiki again and found a place to practice that is affordable and is going very well. Oh, yeah, that's wonderful news, Leah. I'm so glad to hear. Yes, it has taken some time, but I'm getting there. And Sydney is doing so well. She's working with me at the office and she is planning a trip to see her friend Kaylee in South Carolina for her birthday next week. She has been through a lot, but she's finding her way, and I'm really proud of her. Yeah, I'm really glad to hear that things are falling into place for you both. I love you both. I know, Mom. We love you too. A few days later, I was surprised to get a text from Sydney. I had sent her a text when Papa had died, but never heard from her. She texted, "Hey Graham, I just know actually I just now actually saw the text message you sent me. Oh shoot. Thank you. I love you more. I need to set up a direct deposit for work and I was wondering if you know the bank account number for the account you helped me set up when I lived with you." I sent her the account number with a heart emoji. She texted me back, "Awesome, thank you," with the heart emoji. I responded, "You're welcome," with a heart emoji. Wow, that was so nice. My heart filled with joy. I love Leah and Sydney more than words can express. It was so good to hear from them both this week and hear them moving in a positive direction. That's the end of chapter 30. We're done tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll be done with 31 and the epilogue. Ending my YouTube.